Let's get the second part of this going. Okay, guys, by show of hands, how many people, you can be honest, you can be totally honest with this, how many people like the lunch? Good. Keep your hand up. How many people like the lunch? Yeah. So lunch is pretty good, right? Yeah. So a lot of people came up to me and said it was a great lunch on the end of it. Everybody like the salad? I said, okay, good. So let me tell you how we got that, how we figured that out, because not all salads and sandwiches are made equally, right? So one of the things about Korean, particularly Korean women, and I'm married to a Korean, right? They love to eat. And they can eat more than anybody I've ever seen on the planet. She can out-eat me at any meal, no problem, and she gains no weight. And it's the same way with her friends as well. So she has a whole little group of Korean friends here, and they have their own whole life that they do in the afternoon. I have no idea what they do, but they go off and just do their things while the kids are in school. So I asked her for a favor. I said, I need a favor for you to help me out with this event. Can you and your Korean friends go and test out these 5 restaurants and test out the menus? You can order whatever you want, and just let me know what the best thing is. And she looked at me and said, are you joking? And I said, no, I really need this. We want to have some good food, so you can go out and do that. So she jumped right on that. I'd never seen her on a task so fast in my life. And so within the next 5 days, I had all the data back. And it was clear winner that this sandwich and salad was the winning one. It took 5 days of lunches to figure that out. And so they also selected lunch for you guys tomorrow, and it's equally as good, if not better, on that end of it. So that's how that happened. So I gave them a second task. They did that so good. I was like, can you help me out again? And she said, well, it depends. Obviously, it depends if it's going to be food or not, right? So I said, you're going to like this even more, I think. I need you to do the same thing, but for dinner this time. And she's like, no problem, I got it. So they did the same thing. So they went out with their friends, 5 days, tried out the menus, different stuff, and they found a really good restaurant, and it's actually really close to here. And it's a Mexican restaurant, but they've made Mexican food like, it's already good when it's authentic, but it's like 10 times better than it should be. And it's unbelievable. And so the restaurant was a little bit small. They didn't normally cater to groups, so we twisted their arm and whatnot, and we were able to get the restaurant for the whole day on Sunday in the evening. However, they called me up yesterday. Okay, so everything's running smoothly. They called up yesterday, and they tell me that the city is going to turn the water off on Sunday. You guys have seen the construction down here? So they have to turn off the water, and you can't have a restaurant open without running water. It's like against the law, right? It's probably not a good idea anyways. So we got that kind of twist in the whole system there. So everything was going perfectly on that end of it. So so I just turned back to my Korean crew on there, my Korean eating crew, and I said, we have a little bit of a hiccup here. And they said, oh, no problem, we got a second place, just like that. And so we called them up, and they can accommodate, and they can even accommodate more. So if there are, and they're more flexible, so if there are more people who want to join the farewell dinner, I would encourage you to do it. Just come up to me and let me know. We can do that. And it's going to be downtown on the water. It's going to be like a 4-course. It'll be really nice. So it'll be really, really good. So with that, I want to introduce our next speaker on here. And a lot of you already know him. You've seen him. He's very active in our community. He's a huge addition to the community. He's always adding value and stuff. And he's going to be sharing with you today basically some really important technical stuff on, how do you, before you make the phone ring, how do you set up your business? So when the phone does ring, then you know how to react to it. So it's kind of before the phone rings and afterwards, and all the systems placed in there. And he's really good at that kind of stuff, which you're going to find out. And I think you'll also kind of feel that he enjoys sharing this kind of stuff, which is what's great about this community. So basically, every one of the speakers here at this event is all within the Qzx community. There are no outside speakers or anything like that. William is now part of the Qzx community, and so we just keep it all in-house. We all have the same passion and stuff like that. And if you've probably already noticed, in the Facebook group, unlike other groups out there, people share openly. It's not like they're scared to share something. People will proudly share things openly and how they're doing it. And it really helps out because we all rise together. How many people here, by show of hands, are familiar with Jill's office? Okay, so you definitely want to contact support and ask or go back through the coaching calls and listen to the Jill's office, because there's something really magical happening there. Seam has taken it to a whole nother level with the systems on the back of it. And basically with Jill's office is going to allow you to basically outsource any kind of phone calls that you get. So no matter where your site is ranking or whatever time people call, you should not let any of those calls go to waste, and you shouldn't be the one picking up the phone call. Why not just forward it to Jill's office, become good friends with the owner of the company. They've come on a phone call with us. We don't get any affiliate commissions or anything like that. It's just, it works for us, it's going to work for you, and there's been people in the community that are using it, and it's a really good idea. So why not? I mean, even if your site is on page 5 and you're getting 1 or 2 phone calls, why not have a live person answer that phone call, and then that live person will say, I will get you with a contractor or whatever, let me get you information down, and then they go over there, and then they're going to give that lead to them. That's going to end up being a customer to you in the future. So you should definitely watch those coaching calls there to do that. So with that, take it over, buddy.
All right. Thank you, sir. So, let me ask you a question. How many of you are here because of Chris Winters? Can I see your hands? Okay. Let's give him some acknowledgement and some love for setting this up. What you experienced, let's acknowledge William as well. He did a great job, did he not? Okay. The difference between what you saw William do and what you're going to see me do is content versus concept. Now, content, when you're heavy content, you have to stop and pause along the way to make sure that each human brain gets the questions answered as you move along, because the human brain has a tendency to freeze if it's stuck on a question. Make sense? So that's why he was doing Q&A as we go along. Conceptual learning says you cannot do Q&A during the concepts. It interrupts the flow. So I'm going to speak to you for about 61 or 62 minutes, and then at the end we're going to do a Q&A. So here's what I'd like you to do, if you wouldn't mind. I want you just to trust me. I want to come down here on the playing court and play with you full out for the next hour. I want you to allow me to be your coach for the next 60 minutes. That means you need to be a world-class what? Player. So I'm the coach, you're the player. So I'm here to teach, you're here to learn. So if I tell a joke, your job is to laugh. So if I tell a joke and I don't hear a lot of laughter, don't be surprised if I pause and say, we did not do very well on that one, did we? Okay, so what I'm going to do is do concept, and at the end we're going to do questions. So what I would like you to do is, if you're taking notes with a laptop, put a question mark on the laptop, or if you're writing notes, put a question mark, and then as I go along, if I trigger a question in your head, write it down. But just use the verb and the noun so you know what the question was. And at the end, before we get to Q&A, look at your list. You're going to find that 75 to 80% of the questions have already been answered. Just strike it off, okay? But I do not want you to take notes during this part of the presentation. Here's why. I speak at 276 words a minute with gusts to 440. So as fast as you could type or as fast as you could write, you cannot keep up with me being able to speak, okay? I've been doing this for a living for 38 years. So I'm relatively good at it. People tell me I'm very good at it, but what I'm here to do is to make sure that you leave today removing the fear of sales and marketing, okay? So as I go along, what I want to do is I want you to recognize that before the phone rings, you need to have the systems in place. So what I want to do is find out a little bit more about you. So by show of hands, please let me know the answers to these questions. First of all, how many of you do another job as well as internet marketing? Raise your hand, okay? Good, okay, very good. Now, let's check the converse of that. So how many of you do marketing, internet marketing, full-time? Okay, good. And then, How many of you that do it full time, how many of you work alone? You don't have any assistance, no help, okay? That's good. Now, those of you that do have some assistance, how many of you have only one other person helping you? I see your hands, okay. How many of you have a team of people helping you? Good. Now, here's what you're going to find is exciting. By the time this presentation is over, you are going to have your own teams, plural, teams of people. And you're only going to pay for the use that you have coming along. You have never in the history of mankind been alive in business at a better time in all of recorded human history than right now. This is the exciting time of the life that you've been hearing about for a long, long, long time. And if you can't make it here doing this with Chris Winters as your master coach, shame on you. You should kick yourself in the ass so hard you can taste your own shoe polish. Seriously. Now, you need to learn to enjoy these little jokes as we go along because they don't get a lot funnier than that. So, how many of you have made a living on commission as a professional salesperson ever in your life? Let me see your hands. Okay, notice, look around, keep holding your hands up. Look around the room, and everyone else that doesn't have their hand up are the people who are really, really nervous. You know why? Because nobody has a job until somebody sells somebody something. And that's why shiny object syndrome is not blamed on the people selling it. It's blamed on the people buying it. And here's why you keep buying it. Because you get it along just about the time you're going to have to sell somebody something, and you think, oh, geez, now I got to sell somebody something, I better go get another shiny object. What you saw today, what you saw William do, you have no idea how valuable that is to you as a local marketer. It will crush it, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So if you're excited, say yes. Yes. If you're really excited, say yes. Yes. All right, let's talk about sales and marketing. Do you know the difference? Here's the difference between me and everybody else you've ever heard speak. Every time I've looked at definitions, as I was coming up through life in sales, I would hear about sales, and then I would hear about marketing. And I would go look up sales, and I would find definitions for marketing. And I would look up marketing, and I would find definitions for sales. And I'm going, well, Jesus, if they're the same thing, why don't we throw one of those two words away? Well, the truth is they are different. So I believe the human brain performs better, feels better, and has more fun when you know what the hell is going on in this thing we call life. Would you agree? If you do, say yes. Okay, if you all agree, say yes. Now, your job is to participate. My job is to what? You're the player, I'm the... So you need to play. So when I ask you a question, you need to respond. I'm a little bit like the nearsighted javelin thrower. I'm not going to set any records today, but I will keep the crowd alert. So, marketing, and I want you to try this on as a definition. Thanks, there's smarter people in the room than some. Marketing is a process by which a product or a service is prepared for a marketplace, or a marketplace is prepared to receive it. Does that make sense? If it does, say yes. Yes. Now, then what is sales? Sales is a process through which a product or service is delivered to a marketplace, preferably one that has been prepared to receive it. Now, I'm the kind of guy that walks around looking at other people's marketing stuff and laughing my butt off, because no product or service should crash once it's in the marketplace. That's not the place to be testing your market. It's not, but we see it all the time. They'll release a product and they'll say, well, I don't know. It reminds me of that joke where they had the dog food, sales convention, and the sales manager gets up and says, who's got the greatest dog food company in the world? And all the salespeople on cue went, we do. He said, who's got the greatest dog food in the world? And they said, we do. And he said, how come we're not selling more of it? The old boy in the back of the room stood up and he said, I think it's the damn dogs. They don't like it. You see, you need to test whether or not what you do and what you offer actually works. Does it work? Now, you've heard Chris say it, I've said it, William said it, lots of other people have said it. When you're offering quality, exclusive leads that have a high conversion rate into a new customer, what we are selling, as Dan Kennedy says, is discount money. We're selling money at a discount. Isn't that true? But what's the key phrase that we still have to do? We still got to sell it. We got to sell it to somebody. And I'm going to show you how that can be done. But this is the old way of doing business. This is me before I got old and gained weight and had a haircut. This is all of you as well. How many of you still do this? You're busy, okay? What are the things that you do? How many of you are the general manager in your own company? Come on, be honest, raise your hands. How many of you are the web tech builder guy or gal? Come on, raise your hands. How about the writer, poster, tech support person, the salesperson? You all are, and you know it. Guess what? If you keep that relationship, you're going to be doing that the rest of your life. Your job is to fire yourself. It's to replace yourself. Your job as the CEO is to provide jobs for other people, keeping them busy. But here's something you may not have known. Now, if you don't know, that's ignorance. If you do know and keep doing, that's stupid. The worst thing you'll ever hear yourself say are not the words, I can't believe I did that. The worst words you'll ever hear yourself say is, I can't believe I did that again, and again, and again, and again. That's stupid. You actually have two teams, and I'm going to show you how to leave here today. You'll leave here this weekend having the component pieces and parts of both teams. If you're excited about that, say yes. Yes. Great. You will leave with what Jill's office has said. Let's just call this the Stephen Lloyd Barcelona Blueprint, because I'm going to give you all the scripts, all the pieces, all the parts. All you have to do is fill it in. If you think that's great, say yes. Yes. Great. Now, you notice I am a little like the nearsighted javelin thrower. I'm going to keep the crowd alert. There's two people that you're going to have to recruit, and I'm going to show you where to find them and how to get them. It's not that simple. I'm just not going to be able to do it in the 50 minutes I've got left, okay? But you're going to have a coach. So, by the way, this is not only being recorded. I don't see a red light, though. Are you sure that we're filming? Okay, just checking. Don't mean to micromanage. But whether you're here in Barcelona or whether you're watching this at home, here's what I want you to do. Learning has become simple and easy with video. Just write down the number and put an arrow to the left. That means what you just wrote down, the number, the information you want to review is just before the number. So if you're at 10 minutes, 41 seconds, then put a little arrow, and what I just said, you get to go back to 10 minutes, 41 seconds, and watch it again. Why the heck would you write it down? When your brain stops listening and stops learning, and you can go back and re-listen to it. Why would you do that? The answer is you didn't know any better, but guess what? You can't use that excuse any more than today, because now you know. Now you know. Don't cram yourself into the learning box. Step out of that. Most of the learning is experiential. William is taking you through some intense details, and he's doing a wonderful job teaching it to make sure you understand it as you move on. But I'm going to show you how you're going to take that information and not just make money with it, you're going to make a fortune with it. And I suggest to you that the number one thing you're the most afraid of is your own success. My dad used to say, you know what's worse than a prick? I said, what? He said, a prick with money. So you're going to have to learn how to manage the wealth. And it has nothing to do with the wealth. It has to do with managing you. Write this down in your mind. Go back at 11 minutes, 55 seconds, and remember this. Above all else, be kind. Above all else, be kind. It's because of Chris Winters that I'm here today. I don't normally speak for free, let alone pay to come to speak for free. So, the new technical team. This is your new technical team. You need a web tech builder, and you need a writer, poster, tech support person, and you need a coach. Now, where that coach or that general manager comes in the process is immaterial. But I think if you understand what it is you're looking for, there is 12 universal laws. The grandmother of universal laws is consciousness. It is. It's cause and effect. Karma, if you will. So what you hold in your mind gets penetrated into this infinite intelligence. Call it what you want. It doesn't really care what you call it. Some of you call it God. Okay? Let's go with that. Whatever you want to call it. But whatever you're holding in your mind, recognize you're sending it out there. That's why fear is false evidence appearing real, and it is really, really bad for you. It's really bad for you because it's using your creative consciousness to bring you what you do not want. Why would you do that? Your creative imagination, you've heard this, you've been through all kinds of people's training other than including mine. Hold in your mind what you want, intensify it with energy, put your faith behind it, your belief that you'll get it. And guess what? Boom, it shows up. And you know what I'm surprised at? Even to this day, after all these years, I'm still surprised. I flew over here first class from Dallas, Texas. It's wonderful to fly first class. Now, if you can't afford to fly first class, and I mean really can't afford to fly first class, then fly coach until you can afford to fly first class. But when you can afford to fly first class, fly first class. Stop waiting to enjoy life. Enjoy it. Or one day, you're going to wake up and you're going to be dead. Or one day, like me, on February 4th, 4 years ago, you'll get the worst phone call that any parent could ever get. My son was fatally injured in an automobile accident. But it changed my life forever. Because you know what I figured out after I went through the grief? When the universe shakes your coconut tree all the way to the roots and all the coconuts fall out, you get a chance to look at all those relationships and you get to decide which ones you want to pick up. You know what I realized? I hate building websites. I hate working with people that pay me some money and get it started, and then they go dive deep like whales. They're gone for a long time, and then they surface and they blow real hard going, okay, so where is it? How come it's not done? I hated it, so I stopped doing it. Haven't built one in 4 years. I was in a relationship that was dead. Dead. We were friends, but we were not experiencing a husband and wife relationship. So I ended it. All the things that normally people would be scared to death to do, including me, I did. You know why? Because I survived the scariest thing any person can ever go through. If you have children, got to admit, the scariest thing you could ever imagine is losing your child. Isn't it? And if you did it and survived it, what the hell else could happen to you that could be any worse than that? So there is a blessing. And then all of a sudden, my life started to get better and better and better and better. But I realized I hadn't been single for a long time. Things had changed. But then, because I stayed consistent with it and persistent with it, the greatest love of my life appeared. And she wants to be part of my business. She needs to be with me and me with her. And it's just, it's crazy good, better than anything you could ever imagine. And I happen to bring her with me today. So would you please welcome Kirsty and give her a round of applause. Stand up and let your royal cuteness be seen by all these people. So life is as you believe and as you demonstrate. What you do, not just what you think, what you say and what you do. They go hand in hand. So these are the people that need to be on your team. We're going to give you we've already given you a great deal of coaching and where to find them and do all that kind of stuff. It's not as hard as you think. But here's the thing. Please listen to me. If you think you're going to run a couple of ads and talk to a couple of people and pick one, you're wrong. I went through 4 years, talked to or connected with 1,000 women to find one, the love of my life. You're looking for quality people. It's not going to take you nearly that much time, not nearly that many interviews. But you need to get with the program. And the program is this. Imagine that you're looking for a general manager of your company to replace you, the general manager stuff, the worker bee stuff, right? So they got to have certain skills. We'll talk to you about that at another time. The web tech person, there's all kinds of ways to determine how much skills they need. But you need to have somebody that's going to build all the web technology stuff. And then writers. I suggest you start by making sure you're hiring a good writer. Why? Because you'll always have something for them to do. Because you're going to get real busy and go, okay, well, what should I have them do? I don't know. Well, how about they write? You're always going to need a great content. Yes? Yes? Okay. Yes? Okay, great. Just want to make sure you're still with me. All right, selling. First of all, remember, we need to have a specific definition for our brain to become magnetized, to galvanize itself to attract to us what it is we want. If you agree, say yes. All right, so let's have a definition and see if we all agree. Selling is a process through which a person presents a product or a service to someone who has the likelihood of buying what he or she is selling. On a general basis, can we agree that is a pretty good definition of selling? Those of you that raise your hand again that you've made a living as a professional salesperson. Would you agree that this is the consummate definition of selling? It is, isn't it? Okay, what else would it be, right? Okay, now, what percentage of salespeople working, so let me just walk this through this. I want you all to recognize that you're the CEO. Now, this is hard for you because many of you were raised to be subordinate, or you allowed yourself to be positioned as a subordinate. But I'm here today to set you free. Hallelujah! Amen. You are now the CEO, Doni Nomos Passos. You are blessed. You're the president of your own company. Because whether you like it or not, you're it. And guess what? Harry Truman was right. The buck stops with you. You know why you don't want to accept that? Because you don't want to be responsible. You don't want to be blamed. You want to blame somebody else. Guess what? You don't get to anymore. It's up to you. So you're the CEO. I want to walk you through this. Now, I'm one of the authors of and have helped co-design a training program called Sales Process Engineering. So as salespeople, the people who raised your hand, you said you're professional salespeople, you're going to love this. But let me make you all CEOs. I want to walk you through a scenario. If I said to you, by the way, there's no trick questions, the answers are pretty obvious. As a CEO, if I said to you, okay, boss, I want you to walk me through your plant, your facility, and give me a tour. When we get to your accounting department, of all of the working hours of the day, what percentage of the day do you expect your accountants to be accounting? And you would say, 100%. Okay, I told you, no trick questions. Okay, great. Got that. So is it fair and is it reasonable to assume that in the accounting department that the accountants would be accounting? Yes? Okay, good. So now you walk me into your fulfillment department. What percentage, CEO, of the day, the working day, do you expect your fulfillment people to be fulfilling? You'd say, okay, how about receiving and shipping? 100%. Okay, if we get into the sales department, what percentage of your salespeople's day do you expect them to be selling? 100%. You know who didn't say 100%? The salespeople in the room. What percentage of a salesperson's working day is he or she actually investing in the pure, true sales process? Anybody that hasn't heard me speak before or hasn't been through coaching with me personally, you don't get to answer. What percentage would you say it is? Guess. How much? 40%? Okay. Hey there, up gate boy, let him out. Here she comes, standing there in the ring. Got a 20, I got 20, I got 20, 75. Going to pass a bit to the man in the red hat, the red shirt. Your answer is, sir? Guess. 100? Okay, no, okay. Guess what it is? 8%. 8%. Can you understand now why the sales process needs to be re-engineered? Here's what's funny. Now this is, by the way, this was the offer we made. This is to Fortune in PricewaterhouseCoopers. We were positioned to be one of the verticals. Caroline Hinton, stand up. Let them see your greatness. Stand up. Caroline is a partner of mine. Give her a hand. She's an executive with PricewaterhouseCoopers. So we went to PricewaterhouseCoopers and we said, took them through all this information. You know what they said? Shazam! That's really low, isn't it? I said, yeah. Now, what if we were to create a vertical, training vertical, for all of your big dollar clients, and we could share revenues and they would do better, and here's the guarantee. Now, you're the CEOs, you tell me what you think. Here's the guarantee. We will take 6 months. We'll take 25% of your sales staff. We'll take one from the top, one from the middle, one from the bottom. 111, 111, 111, till we have all your salespeople, right? We will retrain them. We will rebuild the sales team. And it will have 3 people on the team. The salesperson is what we call the marksman. He or she is the best shot. They're the closer. Then you're going to have a prospector, someone that goes through all of the lists and all of the numbers of someone who has the possibility to buy what your company sells. And that's not prospecting, that's mining. That's the prospector. That's not the job of a salesperson. Let me see the salespeople in the room. You know, remember how you hate that? You hate that? You hate it. You don't dislike it, you hate it. You know why you hate it? For the same reason if I said we're going to do cross-training and we're going to take someone from the accounting department and we're going to put them into the sales department and we're going to take you and we're going to put you into the accounting department, I promise you, you're going to ask me one question and you're going to ask me the one question. It's the same question. How long do I have to keep doing that? And if I say this is going to be your new job, your resume goes in the field tomorrow. Because if you want to be an accountant, you'd be one. If you want to be in sales, you'd be one. Accountants hate the selling process. And by the way, they typically hate the salesperson because they think we're obnoxious. And sometimes they're right. But you're dull. Not you personally, but as an accountant. Sorry about that. I'll just walk on the top side. You can walk on the bottom side. All right, so here was the offer. We said to the CEOs, we will take 25% of your sales force. We will retrain them and build a sales team. There'll be a prospector and there'll be an appointment setter, a calendar person, a scheduler, and then the marksman. So that the marksman, when that person shows up, all he or she does all day long is talk to people who are already qualified and have an interest in talking to you about what it is your company sells. Would you love that job as a salesperson? Let me see the salespeople's hands. How many of you would love that? You show up, and you get even to work from home. You're scheduled. Now, we're going to record all the calls. We're going to chart you. We're going to monitor you to make sure that that's what you're doing. Because that's a dream job, isn't it? So let me tell you what the statistics are. A full-time professional salesperson spends 92% of their day doing something that is not related to the direct selling process. They're prospecting, they're following up, they're doing customer service, they're doing delivery, they're saving sales, they're doing everything except selling. It's amazing companies can even survive. Just imagine if that was all done for you and the appointments were set. So typically, on average, what a salesperson receives is a large commission for doing a whole lot of nonsense that has nothing to do with what he or she does for a living. Isn't that true? Now, that means that the average salesperson spends 8 hours or 10 hours a day setting up 4 to 5 conversations to set up 3 to 5 presentations a week and sells an average of 2. Sales process engineering reroutes all of that. Imagine if all you did all day long for 8 hours is talk to people who had an interest and could afford what it is we sell all day. You know what their numbers are? They're going to sell 20 to 25 new cases per week. Do you know what the number one objection was? I'm going to take half your commissions to pay for the rest of the team. But you'll make 4 to 5 times as much in less time, doing what you love to do. Yeah, but I don't want to cut in my commissions. What, did somebody like Doni Nomos Passos you and put the Holy Cross on you and make you God? What is the deal, right? You know who else objected? The sales vice president. You know why? He or she was trained the old way. It was hard. What we said is we'll do all of that, no upfront fees at all. We'll guarantee you a 400% increase in your bottom line or there is no fees. 400%. How many of you would vote to do that deal? Guess how many did? Less than 20%. It was hard. It was like pulling teeth out of cats. It was really hard. Why? Because change is uncomfortable. Change is uncomfortable. You've all seen the articles where they take a child away from an abusive parent who really abused them badly, and as the county agent is moving the child away from the abusive parent, who's the child reaching for? The abusing parent. Why? Because it's the devil you know versus the devil you don't, right? People are comfortable with what they're comfortable with. Make sense? Guess what? Today's the day you change. Today's the day you change. If you're going to continue to think and do what you've always thought and done, you're going to continue to have what you've always had. That's the way it works. I didn't invent this stuff. I'm just here reporting it to you. If you're going to continue to think and do what you've always thought and done, you're going to continue to have what you've always had. If that makes sense, say yes. If you're willing to change it, say yes. All right, here's the old way of selling. All the salespeople, does that look familiar? You're trying to do 3 or 4 or 5 people's jobs. I'm surprised that salespeople can get any of it done. I've lived through it myself for over half of my life, 2/3 of my life. I started when I was 19 years old. You know why? I didn't have any other skills. I grew up in radio. broadcasting. Hey, kiddies, far out in solid, supersonic sounds on the radio. If that's too fast, you'll listen too slow. Don't go too far back. We'll be right away with the much more music sound. But now from the news, from uptown, downtown, around town, even way from the other side of town. But before the news, the weather. And the forecast for tonight is dark. All right, so here's the new sales and marketing team. You got your coach in the background. The coach is there to have a general understanding of how the process works. General. I now, in my own company, feel a little bit like what Walt Disney said. I'm no longer a good enough artist to get a job in my own studio. Have you ever seen the old drawings of Mickey Mouse? It was pathetic, right? But he didn't have to be a great artist when you can hire people better than you. Chris Winters has said this, if you've listened to all the coaching, that he now has people working for him, and so do I, that are better at what he was doing than he is now. But that's the way it's supposed to be. If you haven't noticed, he isn't doing a lot of the speaking. Why? Because he's got other friends of his to come and offer stuff that takes you where you want to go at a great rate. Just kidding. The person in the center is the marksman. Now, why do I put him in the center? Why is that person a person of honor? 2 reasons. Who can tell me what they are? Loud. Money, okay, that's fine. But that's, lots of people have money. Okay, closes the client, so value. This guy or gal is valuable. There's one other thing, difficulty in replacing them. Difficulty in replacing them. When I was a little kid, I grew up in Rice Lake, Wisconsin. I know there's a lot of professional speakers claiming to be from Rice Lake, Wisconsin, but I actually am from Rice Lake, Wisconsin. And you all need to enjoy these little jokes as we go along. They don't get a lot better than that. And we went to St. Paul, Minnesota, and I got on an elevator with an elevator operator. And I remember, and he pushed the button. He said, "What floor are you going to?" And my mother said 6, and so he pushed the 6. And I said to him, I'm 7, I said, "Why do they have you?" And he looked down at me like offended, right? He said, "Well, because no one would get on this aluminum box without me." You know what I said? "I don't think that's true. I'm only 7, but I know what 6 looks like, and I think I could push it." We came back to that same hotel a year later, and guess who was not there? The elevator operator. But there was a belief at the time when they had to do the whole thing, put the gate through. I've seen it in London, a couple places, Europe. Do the thing, and whoo, it goes up. In London, they call it the lift. Get on the lift, and you go up to the lift. You go up to the next floor, right? Most people would not get on that elevator without someone there. Why? Because shift happens. And so now, the difficulty of replacing someone is the key I want you to take away from this meeting. Your job as the CEO is to continually increase the difficulty of replacing you. Not making everybody else's job harder, quite the contrary, making it easier. Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Airlines, said, "Be the kind of leader that trains your people so well that they could go to work somewhere else and then treat them so well where they would never want to." Think about that. What are we afraid of? Teaching people and they can go out and do it on their own. If they could, don't you think they would have tried? One of my VAs, one of the reasons I hired her is she and her husband tried getting their own business off the ground for 9 years and failed. I taught her KPIs. She's in love with KPIs. I learned it from Chris. Now we have a way of measuring what someone should be able to do in a day and accomplish it, right? You're going to do that with all of these people. All of these people. Now I have her testing it. Because you know what I tell her? There's no way that I could do this all by myself. So what I'm going to rely on you to do is I want you to give me your best effort. Not go working crazy. I don't expect you to work late into the night. Just give me your best effort over 8 focused hours during the day. 8 focused hours. And then tell me what's the most that you think could be done. And we'll call that the KPI. And you know what the big win is it for you? You might not have to do it very long. You might be the person managing or overseeing that person. Did you hear me promise that that was going to be the offer? What did I say? Might, maybe. But if just in case she doesn't like it, she knows that she probably isn't going to have to do it very long. And she's showing me stuff that I guessed way low. She's showing me how to rewrite articles, repost stuff, all that kind of stuff. So the prospector and the scheduler, overseen by the general manager, the coach, is going to keep this guy or gal in the middle, the salesperson, the marksman, busy, doing what they love to do. So we're going to show you how to outsource half of your company, half of this process. You're going to find the coach. We're going to help you find the coach. We're going to help you find the marksman. Because my goal, Chris's goal, is to help you detach from the role of running the company every day. Your job is to not sweat and toil. Your job is to stop feeling sorry for people who sweat and toil. Look for the people who are able and willing to go beyond that, and then help them to become a manager, a leader. So, let me tell you about Jill's office. I was using another company, a competing company on the West Coast, and they did just fine. And then Chris connected with Jill's office. He told me about them. I got a hold of them. Josh has now become a friend of mine personally. Michelle, who is their director of training, has become a friend of mine. And they've done a couple of things that are unique and different from what was offered originally. What I had done, just to show you what my model is briefly, is I'm in the chuck with the truck, market. I'm in the home improvement market. And so one of the things that I thought would be really, really good, imagine this. If I could show you how to let your prospective customer, now don't call them a client because they're not a client. Someone who buys from you is a customer. Somebody who pays you a fee and they have earned your knowledge and wisdom and talents and skills and ability is a client. You understand the difference? They're not your client. They're your customer. You're selling them leads and services or whatever. We got that? If you do, say yes. Okay, there's a big difference. It's important you do that. If you understand that, say yes. Say yes together. Yes. Okay. Say yes together. Yes. Okay, finally, somebody got it. Say yes together. Got it, okay. So here's my point. I know it's warm. I know you're tired. I know you're in Barcelona, Spain. It's important you stay focused because you're going to walk away with a great bit of information, and my job is to make sure you retain it. So here's the point. What worked for me was this, and you don't have to write this down because it's on the tape, somewhere around 35 minutes, 37 seconds. So here's the point. Imagine this. What if I was to show you a magical way to get your customer to tell you how much they're willing to pay for the lead and have it be a percentage of what they do for a living? How many would like to hear that? Okay, good. Here's the secret. And Jill's office will help you do this. They think it's brilliant, by the way. They're going to build a statue with my name on it. Anyway, she said that. We're going to paint a mural of you, on the wall. I said, that's really great. Let's make sure that it's fully clothed. Anyway, so here's the point. I want somebody to role play with me, so we're going to need a microphone real quick. Going to need the microphone real quick. Is it behind me? Okay, here we go. It's on. Who wants to role play with me? Okay, we'll do it with Joe right up here. Good. Now, this is not closing school. This is not be an asshole school. This is you're Chuck
Thanks
with
for
the truck.
clarifying.
Okay, you're Chuck with the truck, and so let's just say that you're in the roofing business. Okay, the roofing business. Not one of my niches, but I know a lot about it. I'm an SOB, by the way. That's the son of a builder. I'm actually a GSOB. That's the grandson of a builder. So I know a lot about the building industry. But so Joe, let me ask you this question. Just test it. Say hello.
Test hello.
Okay, good. So you're in the roofing business. So let me ask you a question. In the roofing business, do you price your jobs approximately the same way most of the other roofers that I work with do, where you use a keystone for profit? That's, you take materials and labor and mark that up times 2. That's a keystone. So you have a 50% profit margin. Is that about right?
That's right.
And in your marketplace, now here's why he didn't disagree with me. He doesn't know what a keystone is. But look it up. Keystone is a 50% market. I've had people say, well, no, I have a 100% markup, 100% profit. So, okay, how much do you charge for a roof? Average roof in this area is $10,000. Is that about what you guys get? Yeah. Okay. And is your labor and materials about $5,000? Yeah. Let's see, 10,000. 50% of 10,000 is 5,000. Where did the 100% come in? That's the last time he argues with me in the whole conversation. I didn't make him sound stupid, but I showed him he was wrong. Yes? Yes? Okay. So, are you, is that approximately, Joe, the way that you do your business?
That is.
And by the way, you got to know his numbers better than he knows his numbers. That's your job. You're the CEO. Do the research. You got to know your customers' numbers better than they know your numbers. You know why? They'll let you lead. It's like a dance. He's only going to let me lead if he trusts me, right? So I'm going to prove to him I know his numbers. So in this marketplace, the average roof replacement, depending on the size of the building, is around $10,000. Is that not true? Is that your market?
It is.
Or are you in bigger or smaller roofs? So your average is about 10 grand.
Yes.
And so you're making roughly $5,000 a roof. Okay. So would you agree with me that according to the Harvard Business School, you should be spending 3 to 10% of your gross sales on marketing?
Absolutely.
But you don't want a website. He wants the phone to
Ring.
He wants the phone to
Ring.
Y'all need to participate. So, but why do you have a website? Hopefully the phone's going to
Ring.
Right? So he doesn't want to do reputation management and marketing. He wants the phone to
Ring.
Okay, got it. So I was for 20 years been selling process. I've always wanted to sell solution, result, phone calls, right? That's what he wants. How hard can this be? So let me ask you a question, Joe. If we were able to give you some free leads to work, customers in this area, this is all done by Jill's office, by the way. I'm going to show you the scripts in a minute. If we were able to let you try out our leads, and we have, because we don't have a member in our area, your area yet, okay? So if we had a couple of customers that needed to be a new roof to take care of, you'd take care of them for us for that?
Absolutely.
Okay, now here's one of the ways we get our phones to ring. You would have to honor the 5% discount that we offer our customers. You know, the Chuck with the truck discount, 5%. Now, you can mark up to mark down, but you know you're still going to have to be competitive because they're not going to just buy from you because I told them to call you. You're going to have to be competitive, right? So you get to keep the lead. It's all yours. You get 95%, but you have to honor the 5%. Is that fair enough?
Yes.
You willing to do that?
Yeah.
Great. You'd be grateful for the leads?
Yes.
Great. Okay. Now, 5% of what?
5,000.
No.
No.
10,000. 5% of $10,000 is $1,000. Yes? I'm sorry. See, you don't have to be smart to do this. You really don't. You don't have to be good at math. Okay. 5% of $10,000 is
500.
$500. Okay, good. Thanks. It's easier math for you to believe, by the way. All right. So you're going to have to do a $10,000 job for $9,500. You okay with that? Okay, good. What did he just tell me the price of the lead is worth?
$500.
$500, right? Anybody not see that? Because here's what's going to happen. After we bring him on as a customer, he doesn't have to give the 5% discount anymore. He has to pay it in the form of a lead cost. Fair enough? How many like that idea? Okay. Now you let him decide. Let him decide. By the way, if I bring you $10,000 jobs, wouldn't you pay $500 for that all day long? In a heartbeat, they'll pay it all day long, which is why I like being in the home improvement industry. Because I can't get excited about selling $12 leads, $15 leads, $22. I can't. I'm not saying that if I was in the hamburger business that I wouldn't want to own a McDonald's franchise or several of them. I'm not. I'm just simply saying that I want to do custom steaks. I'm a chef. I don't want to do burgers off the thing, right? I want to do big dollars and have a bunch of clients and do big dollars because he really has a huge problem. And that's getting qualified customers. And they're paying, believe me, they're paying hundreds of dollars for qualified leads. Now, it might be $200 or $150, and 3 or 4 or 5 other people are getting the same lead. You know what the most expensive lead is that you'll ever have? The one you don't have. That's the most expensive lead. You know what the second most expensive lead is you'll ever have? The one you have to chase. That by the time you finally get a hold of them, they've already bought from somebody else. And guess what? You don't have to sell them on that. Can we give Joe a hand? That was a good job. Yay, Joe! Okay, now that's as easy as it's done. That's as easy as it's done. Now, by the way, if your cost of lead is $8 or $10 and you want to sell it for $25 or $30, you'll see that the 5% margin, the 5% cost factor, the 5% discount works really, really well. Just let them tell you, are you willing to do it? Now, we're building our own software system so that our contractors can bid based on their costs and just add 5, 10, 15, 20 margin, whatever they want to add. And then we're going to give them the discount, the 5% discount at the bottom. So if they marked it up 55%, they still click the 5% discount so that the invoice shows that they got a 5% discount. Isn't that cool? People love to buy on sale. Any women in here that disagree with that? Guys, the women are right. Sell them on sale. Create a sale. So this is what your sales team looks like. Now, do you understand the two different teams? Do you understand why they're different? All the salespeople are nodding their heads going, yeah, looking like a bobbin head doll. Yep, you bet. So this is something that's new. Here's what we did. We offered our customers direct pass-through leads where we would take our number, our Twilio number, and just forward it directly to their number and charge them X price. X price. And every time it rings, we're going to have somebody go through, we still do, have a staff person go through, listen to every call, and we take away, discount, negate, no charge for sales calls, somebody trying to sell them something, wrong number, stuff like that. But for every number, every phone call where someone says, hey, I want some information about, cha-ching, we make money. Is that fair, yes or no? That's what we sell, isn't it? Now, here's the problem with most businesses. You don't have to be in home improvement. This is true with most businesses. These people are begging for the phone to ring. They're starving to death. They need the phone to ring. But guess what happens as soon as you start making the phone ring? They get busy and they move away from need. They're not starving anymore. And you'll see 20 to 30% of those calls not even being answered, not even being called back. And you know what happens after about 6 or 8 months? They think your leads now suck. They used to be great. They're the same leads. That's where Jill's office comes in. But here's what we did. We said you can have 2 choices, but initially you can't have the second choice only after you understand how valuable this second feature is. Now, the greatest way to get somebody to demand what it is that you want to sell them is to tell them they can't have it. You can't have this now. It's only a future opportunity. And the reason is I want you to really value the leads that we're going to pass through to you. But here's what's going to happen. You're going to get busy. Your phone's going to be ringing. You're going to be out, making quotes and bids and then doing the work and getting it done and hiring the other chucks with a truck to come and help you. And your ass is going to be ringing. And his hands are dirty or whatever, right? So he can't answer his own ass. So you guys really need to enjoy these little jokes as we go along. I know it's warm in here, but so his ass is ringing. He can't answer his ass. So then he looks at it and he goes, well, yeah, if I call him, he's probably going to want to buy something. Then I got to go see him. I got to take my boots off because it's probably a nice house or they're Asian. I mean, all that stuff. Let me tell you something. Asians got it figured out in a lot of ways. Just ask Chris. So anyway, the point is, or is it just in Dallas? I don't know. Anyway, but the point is, he doesn't call him back, right? But imagine this. What if we had Jill's office answer the call, take the call, qualify the call? Then we're going to text them the name, the address, including the zip code of the property that needs service, the telephone number in hot clickable text, and 3 to 5 words as to what it is they want. They need 3 rooms of purple widgets, right? Great. So all he has to do is click that. Now, you're the contractor. So here's the promise that you have to help me keep. We make the promise that you will call them back within 30 minutes. Can you keep that promise? Between 7 and 7? Here's why. Here's what I have in the script and instructed Jill's office to do and tested, and it works like magic. What do we want the prospect to stop doing? Calling around, right? So we say to them, now look, he's going to return your call as soon as he gets off the phone. He's on the phone with another customer, and he's going to return your call. It could be in just a few minutes, so don't call anybody. Expect his call, but it won't take over 30 minutes, I promise. I'm a registered promise keeper. Any other registered promise keepers in the room? Everybody raise your hand. Become a registered promise keeper. Verify, validate, promise, under promise, and overperform. You know who does that really, really well? Chris Winters. Now, don't be surprised if you ask him for something he didn't agree to do. Because as nice as he is, he'll still kick your ass. He did mine when I needed a coach. I've hired some of the best coaches in the world. I was on Tony Robbins' personal staff for a year. Lots of other people you'd probably know. But I've spent a lot of my time as the teacher, trainer, coach. But it took Chris Winters at the first event in Las Vegas to say, Stephen, I got this. I got this. Here's what I want you to do for the rest of this whole meeting. Ask questions and listen. You know what I said? Yes, sir. And our relationship went to a whole nother level after that. It did. And we went through, in the mastermind group, I had a breakthrough because I thought I'd processed everything about my son. I was wrong. But it helped me get it out of the way, and that's one of the reasons I'm here today, right? But when someone kicks your ass, just ask yourself this question: are they enjoying it, or are they doing it for my need? If they're doing it for your need, thank them for it, because you need it, whether you recognize it or not. If you're sucking your thumb all the way to the elbow, you need help. You need a cerebral anal technique. If you got a visual, of about an inch and 3/4 in diameter of a round circle, you got your head up your ass. You need a cerebral anal technique. Someone needs to pop that out of there and give you a shower and wake you up. And you know it. So stop acting like that. Go to somebody who's stronger than you and ask for help. They'll help you if you're sincere. Because most people, when they ask you your opinion, they're really wanting a compliment, aren't they? They're wanting an acknowledgement. They don't really want your help. So figure out where is your weakness and go to someone who's stronger than you and ask them for help. So this is now included. They weren't doing this. But I said, if we're going to use you, then you have to develop this. Here's what I was able to do for Josh. I asked for all of their graphics and stuff so I could help put this presentation together. And what I found out was Jill's office has been going around to chambers of commerce and doing chambers of commerce meetings looking for Chuck with a truck, or the dentist, the doctor, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the Indian chief. So they could be their personal professional assistant, one customer at a time. I said, here's what you need to understand, Josh. I'm going to be speaking to 100 other internet marketers that are all going to bring you over the frame of 1 year at least 100 other customers. And no, not only not interested in the $50 and the 5% and the 2% and the multi-level marketing crap. I'm not interested in that. They aren't either, because that's not how we make our money. We want you to prosper. We want you to keep all the money and do well. Just treat us fair and give us world-class service, because we're not going to promote Jill's office. We're going to promote our own brand, and your service will be a part of it. If you agree with that, say yes. Great. Now, that's exactly what I need to do. And I said, here's what I need. I need for you to be able to text that lead to my customer so that his ass stops ringing and all he's got to do is push a button and go, hey, my office just called me and told me that you needed some purple widgets. It says right here that you need maybe 3 or 4 rooms of purple widgets. So I was just wondering, I'm with another customer right now. Could I get back with you in the next hour, or would later tonight be better for you? That's all in the script, and it's my gift to you. And they already have it. And so does support at callzoo.com. Here's my point. You don't have to do this. All you have to do is do it. You don't have to invent this. Just use it. Just go in and change their names or whatever it is for your customers and your name for your stuff. Here's the other thing. Chris has talked about having email forms and having the pop-ups, right, that come up to capture. That can all be now emailed to Jill. They'll capture it and call the customer and convert it into a lead for you, no extra cost. Same $2.25 outgoing, no minute limit. Same $1.25 incoming. And this is an outrageous cost. This new feature for this is 25 cents. If you love that, say yes. Give them a hand. I told you. I expect to see that mural on your wall soon. Now, so your marksman, your salesperson, they can be what? Local? Tied to a desk? No. They can be on the golf course. Do you care? If you're my sales guy and I've got you just inundated and you say, well, I'm going to go to the golf course today. Is that okay with you? I say, I don't care, because I'm going to track all your calls, all of that. You've got a $30 an hour base, or it can be $15 an hour if you want to work half-time, or if you want to work for $7.50 an hour, that's on you. Then we'll do your reward, your income, your commission above your base based on performance. That's sales. You know how you track sales? Cha-ching. Easy stuff, right? Piece of cake, right? So, or You are playing the salesperson. The salesperson's sitting there on the phone, and the text goes off. So you can have them text you. You want to sound professional? Take a Twilio number, forward it to both your cell phone and Jill's office, and if you can't get it on the first 2 rings, you can tell them whatever number. But I've told them, if it rings the 3rd time, answer it. And they say, Caroline Hinton's office, this is Jill. How may I help you? Is Caroline in? She's on the phone right now, but if you'll give me your full name and your cell phone number, I'll have her call you right back. How many of you would agree that sounds very professional? If you called a big company, if I called PricewaterhouseCoopers for you, isn't that what they have somebody doing? No, they got an answering machine. Hi, thank you for calling PricewaterhouseCoopers. Press 1 for this and 2 for that, 3 for this, and press 4 for the next menu. So now you've got this for a quarter. How many by show of hands think that's a great deal? It is. That's a great deal. In addition to that, they will take your inbound emails from your sites and call them up and convert them to a lead. Here's what they don't do. They don't do your sales. If you've been told that or you think that, you're wrong. You need a sales funnel. When I look at this, my eyes go crossed. I need it simple. This is my sales funnel. You're all going to get copies of this, by the way. So the customers and customer prospects go in the funnel. The vendors and the vendor prospects go in the funnel. We have Jill's office call out to our Chuck with the truck prospects in the cities that we're building the Yellow Brick Road. How many saw my video, the Yellow Brick Road? Okay, good. If you haven't, go look at it. It's in the history. So 50,000 people or more, what William has taught me is now we get to drill down and see which one of those we should be developing based on how many times the phone's ringing. So that goes in the funnel. Jill turns it into leads and prospects, both for customers and vendors. But that doesn't take it 360 degrees. It's 270 degrees. That's a long way. But don't ask them for $5 to make your sales. Because if they can, they won't be helping you as much as they are now for $5. If that was really their core competency, do you think they'd be doing that for $5? Hello? Hello? No. Well, then don't expect it. Because that's laziness and it's fear. You're going to have a closer, someone that's going to get on the phone and finish the process. But believe me, salespeople, raise your hands. How would you like, if you're looking for work, wouldn't you love to have a job like that? You got a staff, a team of people that are doing your prospecting, doing your scheduling, following up. Right? I'd love to talk to you, but geez, I got busy right now. I can't talk to you. Well, you know what? I'll have Jill call you back and reschedule. Might be a few days because they tell me I'm pretty busy, but just be expecting her call. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me put this other person, I'll tell them I'll call them right back. I've had it happen a bunch of times. Why? Because they're going to have to go through another call. They're going to have to get in with my scheduler, get back on my calendar because we had an appointment. That's what I'm saying in a nice way, aren't I? Yes? Yes or yes? Okay. So, but use it. Now, you say, well, yeah, it's going to cost me $2.25. Oh, whoa. That means you only get to keep the other $187,000? Don't be penny wise and pound foolish. You can't hire a staff to do this for 100 times that money. You can't. How many of you have hired schedulers and phone callers and people like that? In the United States, you're talking about $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 minimum to start. If you're going to go to Asia, you're going to go to the Philippines, you're going to go to Europe, you're still talking $400 or $500 a month, but now you've got voice issues, language issues, timing issues. It's the middle of the night, all that kind of stuff. So this is what you need. The sales funnel gets filled with your prospects. It flows down to your marks person, your marksman, the man or the woman who is trained to do that. And in another time, we can't do it today because I promised 60 minutes and then Q&A, so we're going to wrap it up in just a minute. But I will go over with you how we compensate our salespeople. And we do it based on regions. Now, I've been traveled all over the world, so I know different languages. But if you're in Louisiana, down in Cajun country is like a French hillbilly. Cajun food. If you're in the Cajun food company, you don't want to be somebody from New York City calling a Cajun. You go, hey, Joe, listen, I just want to walk you right in, sit you down, say some leads. If that's too fast, you'll listen too slow. Don't go too far back. We'll be right away with the much more music sound. He goes, who the hell is this and what did you want, boy? Conversely, have someone from the South call someone from New York. Is this Fred? Hey, Fred, how you doing? What's happening? You go, hey, listen, I'm busy. When you ever decide how you want to get your thinking going, call me back. Bye. So you want to create regions. But here's the cool part. I created regions and had a $500,000 payroll. A $500,000 payroll. Now I can have a $100,000 payroll and have one person handle 4 regions until that person's completely busy. I just need to have somebody whose accent is good in all time zones. They just need to learn. If someone picks up the phone and says, this is Chuck, Chuck with the truck. You go, hey, Chuck, how you doing? This is Stephen Lloyd. How are you doing? Hey, I'm good, Stephen. How are you? Good. Don't go, hey, Chuck. How you doing? You just pace, pitch, power, and pause the speed necessary based on how they time it. That's all about training. We'll do that for you at another time. So let me give you a quick sample. This is Purple Widgets. So this is the structure. This is all there. All you need to do is go down, get on the phone and call Jill's office, contact them. Let them know that you want Stephen Lloyd's Barcelona blueprint. You're going to get all of this, all the scripts, the Excel spreadsheet, everything that we use, and it's all going to be marked as Purple Widgets because we're not going to disclose our niches, nor should you to anybody else. But these are the 5 things for inbound: phone answering, customer lead qualification, vendor lead qualification, inbound survey callbacks, and Q&A. It's all written out for you. Now, that drops down to a script that looks like this. This is just part of it, by the way. So I've broken down every number to match each one of those components. Everybody with me? You're all going to get a copy of this. But they're only going to take, listen to me, 30 of you at a time, based on when you go through their one-on-one call back. You got to get with them on the phone and go through so they understand your niche, your business, all this, all modeled based on the CallZoo model and this script, okay? So we've saved you 80% of the time. You still have to spend a little bit of time. This is the outbound, vendor lead, buying prospects. I let them do all that for me. They qualify it all. Then post lead, follow-up, and follow-through to the customer. After that lead has been generated, I want them to call you up and say, I was just curious, how was the quality of that lead? I know it was. I listened to the phone call. He goes, yeah, it was all right. All right. Gee, I listened to the call, and it said they were really glad you called right back, and they bought from you. How good does it have to be for you to say good or great? You know why I can talk to him that way? Because I got 3 more people to call if he doesn't become my customer today. As a salesperson, how does that make you feel? Confident? Yes or no? Yeah, but if you're the only guy I've got, oh, geez, I might fall to one knee just to kiss your butt. Happy customer referral calls. Remember the number 7. It isn't your sale I want. It's the 7 other people you know with friends, relatives, and business associates. If I help make you TDH, tickled, delighted, and happy that you did great, I did great work for you, you will open the floodgate to your friends, relatives, and business associates. Yes or yes? Okay, then text lead to salesperson. Boom, here's a lead right now. Boom, 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 in real time. And then text lead to the buyer. I've got my sales guy or gal and my buyers getting texts in real time. Real time. Then a script for that looks like this. So this is the inbound, and this is the outbound. If you like that, say yes. Good. Then I've even put a code back here. In the scripts, it says Q, it equals question, A, answer, R, response, and P/CB is please call back. You know why? Because if you don't understand what it means, your brain gets stuck on what did that PB, what does that mean, right? Okay. So, what you need to provide Jill to help you. This is the 6 areas we're going to add more because we're going to add now with what's available that I just learned. These are the 6 areas. Inbound lead call, outbound call to contractor, outbound follow-up to the customer, outbound follow-up to the contractor, company, city, company name. This is what it looks like. The whole sheet looks like this. And then this is half of it, right? So Harlingen, Texas, that happens to be one of our real cities, okay? Harlingen, Texas. And then those are the 6 things we fill out. You can go down as many as you want, right? And they will, if you do this, if you fill in this purple widget form and give it to them, there's no charge. If you want them to do the work, they're going to charge you for it. Is that fair? Yes or yes? Yes. So you can either do it or have them do it. Here's the cost, $2.25 for the first 2 attempts outbound. That's really cheap, by the way. No minute limitation. If you think that's great, say yes. Inbound is, and then 75 cents for each follow-up. Inbound is $1.25, and then direct text 25 cents. That's awesome, by the way. That's awesome. There's 4 steps to building your agency. Here they are. This is agency development plan. Number 1, build out your niche for the main site plus 20 plus city pages for, say, 50,000 population or more. That's step 1. Phase 2 is set up your Jill's office for inbound general niche lead calls and for the outbound recruiting of who your lead customer is going to be. If that makes sense, say yes. Great. And then develop a Craigslist ads and run tests for Jill's office inbound and outbound recruiting to the people who are going to buy your ads. And then so you're going to do the Google pay-per-click and pay-per-call account, and then set up your Craigslist results, measure it based on the results. And if Craigslist doesn't work for you, then delete it. And we just tried it with HVAC, doesn't work. You know why? If your air conditioning, your heating isn't working, you're not going to go to Craigslist to find the answer. You're going to go to Google, pick up the phone, you want it right now. All right, so questions. Here's the big questions. Let me ask you this. Would you agree that when this is done, it's fashioned, it's finished, you've pushed in the first gear, release the clutch, push the gas down, you're rolling. Would you agree that this is the best business model you've ever seen, yes or no? Yes. You don't seem very enthusiastic about it. Yes. W. Clement Stone once said that the secret of building a powerful and successful business is sell something that's low cost but automatically renews and repeats so it doesn't have to be resold, but you keep making the same money over and over and over again. If that's exciting to you, say yes. Yes. Say it like you mean it. Yes. All right, good. Next big question. Is this call-zoo model the best you've ever seen? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Is it something that you are going to focus on? Yes or no? Yes. If not this, what? If not now, when? If not you, who? If not Chris Winters as a master coach, who? You find me somebody better. You find me a better model. You find me something easier, more affordable, and more profitable, and you and I'll have lunch, and I'll buy. But it's going to take you a long-ass time to find it, because I've looked around a long, long time. I've been doing this since the day after Al Gore invented the internet. You know? There's still a few older people in the room that know why that's funny. All right, let's do Q&A. Who's got the microphone? Now, here's what I would request, that the questions be limited to what will benefit the group, okay? Then we're going to do it on, after you get the microphone, the next person raise your hand, the mic will go to them, okay? So we'll take as much time as you need to answer the questions, but I want you to keep it on what the material was. And the other rule is do not ask me any personal questions or economic questions because we're videoing this and I'm not going to tell you. Because I'm working at trying to find someplace else to live. Chris is helping me. All right, who's got the first question? Raise your hand. Right back there, gentleman with the glasses. Now put the microphone right under your chin so everybody can hear you.
How about that? Is that clear?
Great.
Okay.
Tell me your name first.
Bill Robertson. Santa
I'm
Cruz,
Stephen.
California.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, Santa Cruz, California, just to localize myself.
Great.
You said that HVAC didn't work. Can you generalize that to like an emergency service, like, you know, somebody's got a broken pipe and they're going to just keep calling and not be able to, you know, so it's a less urgent service but a high ticket service.
That's right. And the question was, I generalized about HVAC, but the question is, does that also then apply to other emergency services? And the answer is absolutely yes. And here's why. The other thing that doesn't seem to work, and we've tested it, is cooking the computer and following up with them. It doesn't work. It worked, but not nearly as well as reminding them about the little pony, right? Constantly remind the golf shoes, the new golf clubs, the shoes, ladies, the dresses, the things that are more of an emotional but also time available thing where they're going to constantly be having it in your face, right? Emergency services are going to be done with when? Now or later? Now. That's right. Did that answer your question, sir?
Yes, thank you.
Who's next? Jeannie, right in front of you. Just hand it to Jeannie.
What works, just off to the side, what works extremely well in Craigslist is roofing. Now, that's not my call zone niche, but I have several roofing clients, and Craigslist drives wild traffic.
Well, the reason is that roofing's not an emergency usually, right?
Usually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Roofing is both a need and a luxury. If your roof's leaking, it's not coming in on you unless it's really bad.
Well, you
right?
put a bucket under it.
Yeah.
You know.
But what HVAC is, if your air conditioning's not working, it's not working now, and it's bad. In Texas, it's really bad.
South
By the way,
Carolina,
my
it's really bad.
my information and my opinion is formed out of Dallas, Texas. And by the way, Dallas, Texas has the highest PPC, pay-per-click cost and pay-per-call cost of any market in the entire United States. And the reason is we have one person there, one group there, that will pay whatever the price is to be first in the list, whatever it is. And so they've literally been bidding everybody else out of the marketplace. Jeannie,
Okay, here's my real question. I'm Jean Kalinda from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Who's going to be speaking to you tomorrow, by the way?
Yeah, I get the honor of doing that. So my question came at the very beginning of your presentation, and I wrote it down, and that is, on your 5% discount plan, where you get him to agree to give 5%, which in your example was $500.
Right.
And then he gets used to that, so then you transition right into taking that money as your fee. Mm-hmm. Except I see a disconnect. If I were the business owner, I'd say, no, wait a minute. I was giving a discount on business that I closed, and now you're asking me to give you the same percentage on something that's a phone call?
Okay, do you want to role play this?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I would say, and this is exactly how I do say it, because it does come up. That's okay, Jeannie, if you think that's too much, if you think a $10,000 sale every other time, if you think that $500 per qualified lead is too much, that's fine. That's okay. It was great talking to you.
It's nice talking to you too, Stephen.
Bye-bye. Because I have 3 more roofers to call. And you've already had $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 worth of profit before I even ask you for any money. Besides, I have, and this is just me, okay, this is a little bit different. I have a whole training coaching program that I'm going to send you through. You get to go through that for free. By the time you're done and sending your people through it, conversion rate is going to make that $500 look like a tiny, itty-bitty little fee.
So
if that's not worth $500.
So you're just now mentioning that?
Only if I need to. Only if I need to. Only if I need to. No, I would have already told you that. The question is, did I just now mention it? No, I've already told you about it. You already know that, which is why it's never an issue for me.
So the answer is then, if I'm understanding you correctly, the answer is I either agree to the same rate per call,
right,
or you say goodbye.
Yep, that's right.
No negotiation.
Nope, because I don't need to. It's a great deal because the quality of the leads are great. These are text leads to you, qualified by Jill, to make sure that you have the
I
name.
understand the value, but I'm thinking I'm role-playing as the business owner where you're trying to equate closed sale $500 with $500 for maybe.
No, I get it. And in fairness, you and I have had this discussion and debate before, but in fairness to the group and the time frame, can you and I debate that at dinner tonight?
You want to go to the hookah lounge?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, you bet. Next question. Next question. I must have done really well. Okay, back there. Stand up.
Hiya, I'm James. How you doing?
James, good. I'm Stephen. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Actually, my question was similar to that, whether it's $500 for an appointment or $500 for a confirmed roofing job.
No, it's per lead. Per
lead.
Here's why,
Yeah.
James. Here's what she doesn't know, you don't know. What I add to the mix is, by the way, I'll go ahead and tell you, I make them pay me a membership fee. To get my leads and my training and my coaching, they pay me a membership fee.
Okay.
The minimum's $500 a month.
Right.
Just to be part of my organization. But then we do the training and the coaching and all of that, or their staff, on an unlimited basis, and all of the tracking phone numbers that we do to show them every day, and we do a weekly report. I mean, massive value, to where the cost per lead is nothing. And I do, when we make the sale, I show them, by the time you're done with your website and your marketing and the SEO and the pay-per-click and pay-per-call, all that stuff to make your phone ring, you still have the same problem. You know what it is? Your people suck when they answer the phone, and you have this voice machine that goes, "Hello, welcome to American Roofing," and for one, press 1 to talk to somebody, and if you want service, hang up. So my point is, don't be afraid of this. See, here's what's going on in your brain. You're saying, "Gee, I don't think I could do that." I'm telling you, you can. I'm telling, let them set it. Now, if you want to negotiate, okay. If you don't want to be that hard about it, I'm pretty strong. I agree. I am. But by the way, the quality's awesome. It's awesome. Believe me, they're not able to generate leads, quality leads like that, where someone's texting it to them while their ass is ringing, right, for $500. They aren't. I promise you they're not. They're not. They're getting, other people, where they sell 3 and 4 at a time to somebody else, and then they get off that ladder and they call the guy and they say, "It's okay, I just booked the job." "Well, God, you called me 7 minutes ago." "Yeah, but the first guy called, he called right back. He had someone in his office call, so I booked it with them." He got down off the ladder and got himself cleaned up so he didn't get paint or something all over his phone, right? And called. They hate it. I've yet to talk to one contractor that likes those kinds of leads. They're awful. And they're paying $50, $60, $70, $80, $100 for those. And they have to have 4 or 5 or 6 of them to get one bid, not a job. The average is like $800 or $900 per job. Question?
So, hi, Philippe.
Your name is?
Philippe.
Philippe.
Yes. So what you're saying is, it sounds like, prior to having this conversation about the 5%, it sounds like there may be some positioning prior to having getting them to agree or understand with their own words about the 5%. Is that?
Well, and it's only because we're talking about $500 here.
Yeah.
Right. If they're a hairdresser and you're doing hairdresser leads for $12 or $25 or $18 or whatever it is, I mean, I would like to take you through a training and show you the actual annual cost or value of a client, lifetime cost of a client, 5-year value of a client. Have you then show that to your customers and say, "Do you agree with this? If you're charging $25 a haircut, how many times does this person come in? Once a month. Okay, so that's how much is that a year? $250, $300, can we agree? It's $300 a year? Okay. So how much should you spend to bring one new customer in? How often do you keep them?" That's called value selling, right? So do you need some sales training for sales training? Yeah, guess why I'm here. Duh.
Thank you.
Ta-da! Did that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Now, if I didn't use $500, if I would have said, okay, it's $80, it's $50, it's $100, guess why I didn't do that? I want you to start thinking bigger. Same reason Chris wanted you to come to Barcelona. You realize that all growth takes place out of the comfort zone? All growth. If you're comfortable, get out of the comfort zone because you're not growing. By the way, can I share the secret with you that I haven't confirmed this, but I think it's what's in it for Chris? Do you know what Chris really wants from you? Needs from you? For you to become one of the 100 people that makes $1 million a year or more. Here's why, I think. I'm not sure, but he's building a brand. You know what the danger to him is? His name's attached to the brand. If your name is attached to the brand, you damn well better make sure it's a great brand. Yeah, right, Chris? So unless you're successful, we won't be meeting here or anywhere else in a year. It's up to you. 100 people? Don't you think he could have filled a ballroom with people? He's got halfway decent speakers. Yeah. This is one of the smaller groups I've actually spoken to, by the way. But I'm honored to do it. And I'll tell you what, he is right. When you have about 100 folks all concentrated and getting together, see, we're just here to fill time. We know that. The real learning, the real growth takes place at dinner tonight. Stand up for a second. This gentleman is performing at a Greek restaurant not very far from here, and he's a professional dancer. Well, you'd better be good. So let's get to know him, and if you don't have anything else to do, let's go hang out with him, right? Tell him your name,
Hi, I'm Dimitri.
right?
And,
where's the restaurant?
The restaurant is called La Taverna Griega, which means Greek tavern. It's about 7 blocks from here. So yeah, if you guys are interested, I can call in a couple of hours, just let them know. I mean, if there's only like 10, 8, 12 people going, no big deal. But if there's like 50 going, I like to just let them know. And it's up to you guys what time you guys want to have dinner, 8, 9, and maybe like after another hour break, we can.
Is the food good?
Food's really good.
And the dancing's at least fair?
If you drink a lot, I dance really good.
Let me give him the mic. Give him the microphone. Let me translate that for you. We buy his drinks.
Do you keep your clothes on? Okay. Has anybody seen him dance before?
Very good. And yeah, it's he does things that you don't see.
Yeah. That's
Welcome to Barcelona.
That's a guy's version of he's hot, okay? So, ladies, get with the rest of the guys and have them come. We'll go celebrate him.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's what's the street called? Yeah, it's what's that? That one. It's. They do smash plates, I believe. Yeah. Like I said, maybe like in an hour, if you guys kind of decide, give me a rough number, I can call them and just let them know. They can fit about 80 people. And yeah, really good food, decent show. So yeah, it's La Taverna Griega, and it's about 4 blocks over, 3 blocks down, roughly. 123 Torrent de Aloya.
Good.
All right, thanks,
Now,
guys.
if that doesn't bring some people by to see, I don't know what's going to do it. Let me tell you one more thing here, and we're going to see if there's any more questions. We're going to wrap it up because we're at 1 hour, 20 minutes. On the 16th, the night before, Kirsty and I jumped on an airplane and flew first class, great way to travel, by the way, over here. I spoke to the Texas Dental Association because Rajiv Patel, who's a very, very good friend of mine, he was the endodontist. When my son died, I grieved so hard I changed the prescription in my own eyes. 2 teeth on the left side of my mouth died in 1 week. So my dentist immediately referred me to Rajiv Patel, who's an endodontist, world-class endodontist, by the way. If you're going to go to an endodontist, make sure it's someone with long, skinny little fingers. And so he was able to save one of the teeth, and the other one had to come out. But here's what happened. This is why we became such good friends. We're like brothers from different mothers. His mother's a very fine-boned woman. Anyway. Didn't say it was really funny. So anyway, he took his probing tool and he threw it down and he said, Stephen, you have grieved till your eyes have changed. Your 2 teeth have died. You're going to keep grieving till you get to your heart, and you're going to die. You're going to turn a tragedy into a travesty. You have to learn to meditate or medicate or whatever it's going to take, but you got to go beyond this grief. And that day, he and I became friends. That's why I spoke to the Texas Dental Association for free. Now, let me tell you why I'm telling you the story. I told them about what I'm doing for a living now and what niches that I'm in now, because I can tell them what my niches are, because I want them to refer some Chucks with a truck to me, because half of them are Patels. I actually had a dentist come up after the presentation. He said, I believe you have a better Indian accent than I do. I said, maybe it's because I'm around more Indians than you. He said, oh, no, that's not possible. I have a whole house full of them. So I told him about what we're doing for lead generation. I said, now, doctors, please understand, I can't do this for you, or we're not doing it for you, because it would take like 5 endodontists in a chunk of Texas to make it work, 5 pediatric dentists, 5 general dentists to make it work, because we spend all of our money and all of our talent and all of our skills to build all the sites and drive all the leads to make the phones ring, and all you do is pay for the cost of the leads of people calling, getting new patients. Guess what they all want to talk about at the break? Well, you said you don't do that, but you could do it for me, right? I'm different, and Kirsty will tell you, I walked out with a young Dr. Patel that has 17 dental offices. 17, because my talk was, it was on authority marketing and how to write a book, and I own a publishing company and all that, but how to write a book and why to write a book, because general dentists should do it for their customers, their future customers, to get authority in the community, because very few people have written a book. Best thing I ever did was write a book, because I got in to see whoever I wanted to get in to see, because I wanted to interview them for my next book. And then the specialty dentist would write it for the audience, which is whom? The general dentist. That's who they get their referrals from, right? So for Rajiv Patel, I came up with 2 titles for him, but the one he liked the best was, let's get to the root of the issue. And it's all about endodontics, and it's designed to be read by whom? The general dentist, so they can educate them on it. And then I give them the whole marketing strategy. You just autograph the book to the general dentist, send it to the general dentist, find out who the carrier pigeon is in that office. That's the person who carries the information to the dentist, because he or she's very busy doing this all the time they're there. And say, by the way, Dr. Patel sent this book to you and he autographed it for you. That's all. Then you send them a handwritten note. I showed them how, in fact, make note of this. Selling from the Heart is the name of the book that I wrote that will benefit you a lot. You can get it on Amazon. I don't make any money on it. It all goes to charity. But Selling from the Heart will give you 12 chapters, 12 lessons on how to build this business. One of them is how to take all those handwritten notes that you should be writing and automate that into a photographic process and send it out. And I told them about it. Just write a note, say just a note to let you know I'll be calling you in the next few days to schedule lunch so we can get together. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at my book in the meantime. My best always, Rajiv Patel, not Dr. Rajiv Patel. He's a doctor too, not Rajiv Patel, DDS, just Rajiv Patel. You want to be friends, right? 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 Okay. He said, my God, that's brilliant. So anyway, Dr. Patel, this young Dr. Patel comes up. He said, I know you're not taking new clients, but I want to talk to you about doing that because I need help with this. I said, okay, when I get back from Europe, we'll sit down, have lunch, you can buy, and we'll talk about, whatever it is you want to talk about. He said, I don't care what the fee is. Does that sound like he's sold? So here's a secret. Remember this. Here's a secret. Tell them what you want to tell them, but tell them you can't do it for them now. It's not possible. You're too busy. Guess what they want? They want it right now. If you doubt that, ask Jeannie how she and her husband met. He kept trying to court her. She kept saying, no chance in hell. He kept chasing her. But my point is, my mother used to say, he chased me till I caught him. But my point is position it to where you're not selling. It's called professional telling. Do you understand the difference? You're not selling. You're telling. This is what you need done. Do you agree? Yes. The other people I've worked with in the same industry tell me that. Is that also true for you? Yes. They tell me that the numbers are approximately this. Know your numbers better than he knows the numbers. Here's what you're going to find out if you're working with contractors. They don't know their numbers. They don't. But you got to know your numbers better than they know your numbers. One last question. Anybody? Okay, yes, sir. Gentleman with the glasses. Tell me your name first.
Hi, David from Toronto.
David from Toronto. Hey, great
Yes.
city. I've spoken there several times. Great city.
Awesome.
Hey?
That's right. That's right.
The only city that doesn't say that, by the way.
Not too much, no. My question is about Jill's office and how it relates to overnight services, perhaps like 24/7, if it's like plumbing or.
I can't quite get what you're saying. Say it again.
So Jill's office.
Yes, sir.
How does that relate to overnight services? Because I don't think they run overnight.
No, they don't. No, they do
So
not.
what happens in this instance when you have all the systems running into Jill's office, but when nighttime rolls around, what happens?
I'm going to focus on the 12 hours that they're awake and working, and I would suggest you do the same. And by the way, if you want to go into a business that's going to run you ragged, go into 24/7, 365. Because if you're the account executive, if you're working for me and you're the salesperson and there's a problem, guess who they're calling? You, right? But there's a whole lot of them, unless you happen to own or your dad owns a 24-hour service. By the way, most of the plumbers don't want 24-hour calls. They really don't. They say they do. They advertise that they do, but they really don't want them. You can have backup voicemail if you have to at that time of the night, or have it forwarded to the owner or wife or kid's phone at that time of night. Make sense?
It does, yes.
Does that answer your question?
Yes. Yeah,
Great.
Thank you.
Did you have another question? Well, let's put it on tape, and we'll put it on voice. Put it right here. so
If the
everybody hears it.
client does call
Yep.
at 10 o'clock at night, what does he hear at Jill's office? Does
A
he
voice message saying,
please call during
our office hours are da-da-da-da-da-da. Cool. And yeah, so they can put whatever you want there, because understand, they work from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time U.S., right? But do you understand the fortune you can make working a 12-hour a day, 5-day a week business? Do you guys have any idea what Chris introduced here and we brought to you, how valuable this is? I mean, no, you really don't. If you were thinking in terms of a 6-figure business, it went to 7 figures. And the only reason you can't think in terms of $1 million is you're thinking too damn small. Yes, sir. Right there's a microphone.
You say you need to know the figures better than your potential customer knows their figures. If they don't know their figures, how exactly do you go about knowing the figures?
Well,
better?
you need to know them. I mean, you need to get together with people. First of all, I'm an SOB, a son of a builder, right? So I know what they are. But study. There's all kinds of things. Do the research. Find out. Go out to people. You want to get new customers? Go out to people and say, you know what, I'm studying. I need to be a student of your business. Educate me. Who is the most knowledgeable person in your business? If you were to hire a Chuck with a truck, if you were to hire a painter, a roofer, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker, who would you hire? You want to figure out who the best doctor is in the area? Call the doctor and ask them, if you needed a doctor, who would you go to? And they'll tell you. So find out who the best people are. Go visit with them. Go study the ads. Call them up. See how they answer their own phone. It's terrible. I mean, it's somewhere between god-awful and crummy. It really is. Yes, ma'am, right behind you.
A great way that I got information about roofing, because I kind of specialize in roofing with my offline agency. There is a trade association called Roofer Success International, and a couple of my clients joined, and so I became friends with the people at RSI, and I picked their brains, and they knew nationwide all the figures. So if there's a trade association that you can tap into, I'm sure it's that way in other niches. I kind of have specialized in roofing, but I got a wealth of information from RSI.
In fact, the way Jeannie and I met was with another training program where we were both offering things. Somebody else have a question? We'll pass the mic while I'm making a comment about that. Okay, anybody? Okay, so anyway, one of the specialties that I've done for 12, 18 years or so is in third-party endorsed marketing, trade associations, professional associations. There is a fortune to be made there, a fortune. Decide what niche you want to be in, and I promise you there is a professional trade association for that niche. Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, there is a trade association. There's 2 reasons that a trade association exists. Number 1 is for the benefits of their membership. That's the only reason they exist. Number 2 is to continue to add more and more and more value to the same fee. They don't want to raise the fees, so they're looking for non-dues revenue. Make note of that, non-dues revenue. When I talk to the chief executive, I say, let me explain how this works. And by the way, did I mention we also pay a 10% non-dues revenue to the trade association that we endorse, that endorses us, and we become a dues-paying member. He goes, what was that number again that you pay, how much? 10%? It's like $250 a lead, $2,500 a month minimum. That would be $250 a month to your trade association, and there's no limit. Chambers of Commerce. Jeannie's an expert at Chambers of Commerce. My point is that I feel like a mosquito in a nudist colony. I mean, the opportunities are so vast, I scarcely know where to begin. They're everywhere. They really are. That's why you need to specialize. Focus, 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 focus. Pick one. Try it. That doesn't work, back up, change your approach, try again. But don't go to 10 or 12 different niches. Pick one. Go in and look at it. Get to know it, right? But I personally, this is me personally. Did you ever hear me say that? Personally, this is me. I want to work in niches where I can charge $100 or more per qualified lead, per quality lead. That's just me. It's because I can get excited about that. I won't sell as many. Chris sells a ton for 25, 30 bucks, 10 bucks, 15 bucks. He and I had that debate, right? Here I'm talking to a guy that makes 7 figures a month, giving him advice. I paid him to come to his event to give him advice. I said, but with the low amount, I mean, you could charge more percentage of the sale. He said, yeah, or you could just sell a lot more. I was talking about the incremental fasting. I said I did it 5 days a week. I had a hard time, like I take the weekend off, and then hard time getting back on Monday. He said, what do you suppose you should do about that? I said, just stand at 7 days a week. It sounds like you got your solution. That's the easy job, right? Any last questions? Going once? Going twice? Yes, sir. Let's put it on the video for everybody at home. This is for you all at home.
I guess this comes to a question about the VAs. When you said in 8 hours period of time, just do as much as you can. What's stopping them from just abusing that trust?
Well, understand, the question was, when I talked about the VA, letting her set the KPI, I didn't do that initially. We started off with how many articles could we write, can be written in a day. In a day, 8 hours. Do you know why I came up with 12? I did 18. I'm a professional writer. I can crank it out pretty quickly. I also use tools like Dragon Naturally Speaking. I can type at 120 words a minute, 98% accuracy. So I bought that for her, bought her the headset, showed it to her. First day, she did 8. She was disappointed. Second day, she did 8. She was disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. I just said, oh, I thought you could do 10. Right. Next day, she did 8. Third day, she did 9. Fourth day, she did 9. The fifth day, she did 9. You know what she did on Saturday? Stayed over and worked to catch up for the 10 per day. That impressed me. So I was taking her through training. I didn't even tell her during the interview that I'll have you setting your own KPIs. No. I did it. And then I had Philip test it. Philip could do 10 or 11 or 12 a day, right? He's my general manager candidate trainee. By the way, don't give these people big lofty titles, directors of whatever, vice president of importance. Don't do that, because you know what they expect right after the big title? Big money. No, You know what Philip's title is? Assistant to Stephen Lloyd. Because that's what he's there for. When I hired him, he half the time was doing my laundry and making my bed and taking care of my stuff, and the other half was learning my business. And I said, as soon as we grow this business to the point where that half gets overtaken by the business, now he works for me out of my home, right? I mean, I have a really nice office in my home. It's actually, people say, do you work from home? I say, no, I live at the office. But anyway, and he's moving more and more and more into the professional side and less into the personal side, right? But I had half budget for personal, half budget for professional, and I had him work with me. I would strongly advise you to do that as well until you get rolling. And then I taught him how to interview people online and do all of that kind of stuff, because I'm right there with him. We do a check-in every morning at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, and a checkout at 3:30 every single day. And you can set your watch by this kid. The garage door opens. He's got a clicker. Garage door opens at 10 minutes to 8. He comes in, greet, how you doing? Ba-boom, ba-boom. He goes over and takes my dishes out of my dishwasher, puts them away, grabs his notebook, comes over, sits down. I've got a cup of coffee. We do the check-in. Here's what we're going to do. We use Asana and check in. And then he works all day, 3:30. There's an alarm goes off. He sits down. We accomplish and review, what did you get done today? What's still left for tomorrow? And then the next day we visit it again, and let's set that standard. Just imagine this. It's chunk to chunk to chunk to chunk to chunk to chunk to chunk. Why are we able to accomplish so much in so little time? Check in, set the expectation. Check out, verify, inspect what you expected. What did you actually accomplish today? What's left undone? This kid started working for me 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. You know why I did that? I wanted to see, number one, what could he take? And number two, what's he going to accomplish? Out of an 8-hour day, what does the average employee spend working? Anybody know? 4 hours. 50% of the time, half the time. He's there 8 hours, works 8 hours. All of it. Doesn't waste a single moment of time. He'll sit and listen. I'm talking to him. He's going, And I give Kirsty and everybody else in my company permission to say to me, so what does this have to do with moving the decimal point with Sterling and Pope? That's the name of my company, Sterling and Pope Marketing. North and to the right. What does this conversation have to do with that? And say it politely. so you don't piss me off, right? But it's to remind me that I often may get off, my grandfather used to say, don't get off a 4-row corn picker to kill a mouse. Let him eat some corn, it's fine. You've got 4 rows here, just keep picking corn. Don't get off a corn picker to kill a mouse. Stop majoring in minors. Major in majors, and you won't have to worry about the minors. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure. Gerpaul Duhut. We met in Vegas. We became great friends. I had one of my graphics people do this Doberman.
Just keep it short.
Yes, sir.
That's all we're out to keep it short.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to limit this story to 20 seconds. Go.
Oh, it's okay. But I said, Gerpaul, because in his Ger, Paul, it's Paul with a Ger on it. I said, why don't we do a Doberman that goes Ger, Paul, right? And he said, how about Duhut?
10 seconds.
Because we give a hoot. I'm done.
Okay, thank you. So, give him a big hand. Awesome job, right? Huge value there.
Thank you, guys.
So we're going to take a 10-minute break. So do what you got to do in 10 minutes, and we'll start all over again with William, okay? Thank you.
Very good.